Blood Moon Storms. A Prophetic Dream from God. By Jessica Smith. I had a blood moon Passover dream in 2014 that the Lord wants me to share continuously. Interpret as you will. However, I truly believe that I represent the church in this dream. My Father represents God. In my dream, I woke up. I had been sleeping and slumbering while a great black storm had gathered. After I woke up, my Father came to me and instructed me to get to the basement for shelter. I believed him but fell back to sleep. My Father came back. "Wake up," he yelled. "The warnings have been going off all night and you didn't even know because you have been asleep. Get up. Get in the basement." Romans 13 verses 11 to 12 says, "And do this knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Therefore let us cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light." Because of my Father's relentless warnings, I finally got out of bed. I ran to the window and looked into the sky. He was right. I saw the darkest, most ominous storm I ever saw in my life, and it was ready to blow up. I had been asleep and he woke me up. I had been blind and he made me see. The color of the storm was black. This storm was powerful. It was dangerous. Millions of tornadoes would be spawned from this storm. It had taken all night to brew. It was now a thick, black mass of strength, power, and energy. The texture of the clouds was incredibly thick, like shaved ice. I knew that this storm was worldwide. It was an ominous, terrible storm. This black monster was getting ready to unleash a fury the world has never before known. This black bomb was done brewing. Its explosion time was past due. Although I was now awake, out of bed and saw the storm, I couldn't shake the slumber from my eyes. I was so tired from sleeping all night. I was dizzy and confused. I fell back to sleep off and on for short naps between short moments of grabbing useless things to take to the basement with me. I could not figure out what supplies I needed. I had waited to the last moment to prepare. Now panic caused me to be disoriented. I finally totally woke up. I looked at the storm again, and it was so astounding and unbelievable that I wanted to get a better look. So instead of preparing and going to the basement, I went outside to look at the storm. I looked to the clouds, and there were many messages in the clouds from God. Many shapes and cloud sculptures. The clouds took shapes of people, places, and things. These were messages from the Lord to people on earth. Secret codes and communications. I also saw strange things that I don't believe were from God. I don't understand much of what I saw in the storm clouds. I saw ominous cloud machines. I don't know what their function was, but I knew they were man-made terrors in the sky. These machine clouds were incredibly intricate machines floating in the storm, wrapped with black clouds. They served a diabolical purpose. I did not like them at all. I also saw towers and other strange things. It was endless as far as the eye could see. There were signs and wonders in this storm. I had my camera. I was taking photos and videos when I could. Sometimes my camera wouldn't work though. I was with a group of other Christians. We were looking at the black clouds of the storm when suddenly a part of the storm cloud broke away high in the sky and began to drift toward us at a very fast speed. As it passed above us overhead, it took on the sculpture shape of Noah's Ark. The large boat and all the animals inside zoomed very quickly through the sky toward us above our heads. I couldn't believe my eyes. I pointed at it and exclaimed, "Look, it's Noah's Ark." I tried to take a picture, but my camera wouldn't work, plus the cloud of Noah's Ark zoomed by too fast. There was no time to take a picture. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Matthew 24 verses 37 to 39. Suddenly the urgency to take shelter from the storm was overwhelming me. So I turned around and started for home as fast as possible. I was now racing the storm. I knew I had lingered too long out underneath it. The storm was about to burst over top of me. There was unbelievable physical pressure in the atmosphere. I could hear nothing at all because of it. No sound anywhere. Sound was sucked out the atmosphere. The storm was ready to pop. As I ran, I looked to my left into the sky and I saw a blood moon coming toward the earth. It wasn't totally full. Nonetheless, it was a blood moon, and it was moving like an asteroid, headed straight for us. It was coming so quickly I didn't know if I'd even make it to my door. The closer it came, the larger it got. It was terrifying. I was afraid of the destruction that blood moon would cause when it hit Earth. I knew that blood moon was bringing a mighty shaking such as we have never seen, even catastrophes and calamities. I was running, trying to get to my shelter, my house, before the blood moon hit the earth. I felt if I could just make it to my house, I would be okay. I looked to my front door and there was a tall angel, about 10 or 11 feet tall, clothed in all white. He had a very deep, very big bronze bowl in his right hand, and it was filled with the blood of Jesus. And in his left hand he held a great hyssop branch with no leaves. He was plunging the hyssop branch deeply into the bowl of the blood of Jesus and quickly slapping it all over the top, sides, and front of the door to my house. Now I had a thick wooden frame all around my door, on top and on the sides. This was a wooden door frame. The angel doused and sopped the blood of the lamb on the top wooden frame over my door first, then the sides, then the door itself. He was not neat about it. This was very quick and very sloppy, blood everywhere. I knew it was supposed to be this way. The blood of Jesus Christ was all over my front door and door frame. As I quickly approached my door, the angel turned his head and looked straight at me and told me urgently to get in the house and do not come back out. He said that the only protection from what was coming was in a house that was covered with the blood of the Lamb, Jesus, like he was doing on my door. He told me that when the second blood moon storm comes, not to even look outside. He told me to close up all the windows in the house and not to even look out. This reminds me of Ezekiel chapter 9, where God commands an angel to go mark all those who were grieving and crying over the abominations of the land that was about to be judged. The angels marked them so they would be protected from the wrath of God against the wicked people. The angel told me that this storm was from God, and it was his judgment against the wicked and whoever was not in a house painted with the blood of the Lamb with hyssop on the door above and the sides and on the door, that they would suffer in the judgment of the wicked. But those who were in the house and followed God's instructions would not suffer the great wrath of God toward the wicked. Of course, what the angel did in my dream is just like Passover in the Old Testament. Exodus 12 verses 21 to 23 says, "Then Moses called all the elders of Israel together and said to them, 'Go, pick out a lamb for each of your families and slaughter the Passover animal. Drain the blood into a basin. Then take a bundle of hyssop branches and dip it into the blood that is in the basin. Brush the hyssop across the top and sides of the door frames of your houses, and no one may go out through the door until morning. For the Lord will pass through the land to strike down the Egyptians. But when he sees the blood on the top and sides of the door frame, the Lord will pass over your home. He will not permit his death angel to enter your house and strike you down.' The blood moon struck the earth and popped the storm. It began to blow as I ran inside the house, barely in time. The angel opened my door and let me in and then shut the door behind me. As soon as the door shut, everything began to blow violently. I immediately grabbed my 2 children and began to plead the blood of Jesus over them, over myself, over all who were in our house. I knew the blood of Jesus was our only protection and that it was vital to plead it over us all. I held on to my kids as the storm exploded outside. The earth shook. There was such a great shaking. Our house shook violently. We felt the shaking and heard strange and terrible sounds outside, but nothing touched us nor came into our home. Our home was protected and we were safe inside it. This terrible storm passed over us, and although it shook us, we survived. Thank you for listening. Watch for part 2 of my Blood Moon Storms dream. God bless you.